Hey guys, it's Jeff Chan from Untitled, and I'm here in Tokyo, Japan training with Sifu Nate. The more I train Wing Chun, the more I realized how similar my style is to Wing Chun, specifically blocking and countering. So I decided to ask Sifu Nate, who is highly trained in Wing Chun, to help me make a video talking about the similarities and differences between the two. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Can you show me how you would defend straight punches in your Wing Chun stance or guard?
So usually when our stance is up, we're in our center line guard like this, and if they throw the punch, we're just stopping it through the middle like that. I actually focus on keeping the center line by just going straight down the middle. And usually aiming for the forearms or even the elbows. So if you went deep like that, see how it kind of deflects there too. I never leave that center line. I always want to block and attack down the midline. So if I'm blocking, I'm just pushing it down the middle. So it almost sends this energy back into them and also deflects naturally by like almost dividing this line. And the other hand is gonna pop, boom, just like that. And that way I also shift the body, right? If you notice when I hit it, boom, then he's already turned this way. I can attack from here now. And if they throw the other hand, same thing. Block this line.
And it's actually very, very similar to how I block. The only difference is he likes to control the center line. I actually like to keep my hands outside my eyebrows. So my theory is if my hands are down here and he throws a punch, I have to lift my hand up before I parry. So my concept is I like to keep my hands higher by the eyebrow level and just outside my eyebrow. So when he throws a jab, I'm going to deflect his forearm, and I like to use the bottom of my wrist. So as he throws a jab, I literally just shove my palm in front of his face to make sure I can keep the distance, at least an arm's distance away. And again, I want to wait for the punch to come, then deflect so that his punch goes the opposite direction. Same thing as Wing Chun, really deflecting the punch. I keep it there so that the punch gets deflected and there's a bigger window of opportunity for me to counter. You throw your left punch, same idea. I'm going to wait for that punch to come, and I'm just going to turn my palm forward and I'm going to deflect again with the bottom of my wrist. I like to deflect his wrist off this punch. I like to deflect his forearm because my lead hand's further out.
And it's very similar. We end in the same spot actually, very similar. We just started from a different place, right? You're starting from out here.
Out here and here.
I'm starting from here, and I'm thinking that's direct. I just close the center line, and he closes from this outside line.
And it's funny because
yeah.
I got the long guard from training Muay Thai. And how do you defend circular punches? So if I throw a left hook, how would you defend it?
So usually here, like just like this. So we're Bu style, we call it Bu style. So Bu style like this. And usually this happens simultaneously. So every time I see an outside line, I take the middle, and I'm also using this as deflect. Bam, it's a follow up right there. Same thing with the right. Boom, right here. And I can follow up this way too. Bu style, stop it again, boom, again like that. So I want to keep this here so that the elbow kind of blocks. Because I've done it before with we call Tan style, this way, and it would follow through. And if it hit the elbow deep enough, it would get that spot. The elbow here kind of lets it move around the arm. So if it keeps going, the elbow kind of keeps it from hooking into me.
That's actually very similar. The way I would teach it, my lead hand's further out. Obviously, my right hand's closer to me. When you throw your right hook, I use what we call a 360 block. And I really emphasize flaring the wrist and extending my arm. Whereas I refrain from the karate style block. Because if he throws a right hook and I do this, it's going to collapse my arm. And if the arm's super long, it's going to loop right over. Boom, I curl that wrist. The harder he throws, the more it's actually going to hurt his forearm. Because my lead arm is out, that's the reason why I extend the arm out versus bring my left hand to my face to block. Whereas if he throws his left hook, instead of bringing it out, I like to step back. The concept is that my rear hand's always loaded up. at 360 block. If he throws his left hook, I get out just here, and now my right hand's loaded up so I can fire. Sorry.
I noticed a little difference that he does a similar block, but he goes with the hook again. He extends a little bit longer than me, just a bit more, so they get the deflection, the push again.
The reason why I like to keep my lead hand outside of my eyebrow is because, look here, if it's outside my eyebrow, like I'm looking through binoculars, if Stephen Nate throws his cross or right straight, I deflect the punch. If he throws the right hook, boom. So now don't tell me what you're gonna throw.
You're gonna hit the right
boom,
hand. Yeah.
boom. It's a very small adjustment. 1, 2. If my lead hand's too far out, the cross is gonna be too fast. Boom. If my lead hand is in the center line when he throws the right hook, it's too fast. At least that's my opinion. I want to ask you, Nate, how do you adjust that? How do you not travel so far?
My hands are here ready to, if anything comes down the middle, it just goes straight in. And so that's why anything that happens, I just kind of stuff it, basically. I'm just going direct to it. So if it's any straight, or if it's that hand too, it's straight. So I only have to move straight in. Instead of thinking of going from out to in, I just cut the middle. And when it's outside, then I can just make that one movement. So I only think straight here, straight there.
I guess that makes sense because you don't lift your hand up to block. So my theory is my hand should be by the eyebrow. So when he throws a jab, I parry downwards. Whereas if my hands are down here, that means I'd have to lift it up then block. But he just goes straight into it. The next thing that I find that's very similar is sticky hands.
Sticky hands.
Chisao. Chisao. I see a lot of Wing Chun guys. I'm not clearly not trained. If you get close enough to me, I'm gonna want to control. Most Muay Thai guys, boxers, their hands are a little higher. So if you get close to me, I'm gonna start controlling your hands. And I want top control. So now this is my little way of sticky hands. So if he throws a cross, I can feel it. Come close to me, I'm gonna start controlling the top of his hand. Again, if he throws a jab, I would just deflect. If he throws a left hook, I catch. If he throws a cross and right hook, I can feel it. If I catch one hand, he's probably gonna throw, boom. And now I have bicep puncher and I like to exit off with.
Yeah.
That's very similar to Wing Chun, but again, my sticky hands is from the outside top control, whereas your sticky hands is explain.
We do all types in a way. We do have double outside, which is called double fuksao. We have also double inside, double tan sao and bong sao. When we're on the inside, we roll the hand this way to control the center by keeping everything outside our body. When we're overhand, two hands like that, we want to keep the center line by making sure he can't just get a free shot right into here. So I'm also hooking these arms like how you're doing, actually getting top hand control with your wrists and your palms. Most of the Wing Chun you might see is we do a kind of even inside outside. So one hand is inside, one hand is outside. And they're usually pressured by rolling like this. And this is similar to what you're doing because you're feeling the pressure. When you were stopping, right, you're giving me that pressure.
Yeah,
you're giving me that forward pressure, right? So it's actually very similar. Whenever he throws this hand, I just forward pressure, right? And then this is already a strike actually. So go ahead. boom,
Boom,
bam,
boom,
right?
boom.
So that's already what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to deflect, but I'm also trying to hit if I can, or grab the neck. And I let him pass. I deflected like how you're doing almost, and this rolls in. So most of the time, you're not thinking about the inside hand. That's all right. So on the inside, it's the losing hand technique to use long style. But if you can't help it, you're already on the inside. Like there's some people that's going to have top hand position. Now top hand is very similar to what you're doing. Just keep the forward pressure in, right? Keep the forward pressure in. You're just stopping it.
What if I throw a hook? Yeah.
Yeah, the hook, boom, same thing actually.
Gotcha.
But if you kind of tried to roll to the outside and throw a straight back, then I have the body style. See?
I see.
So,
It's
but
kind of like a shoulder roll, which I use all the time. Which brings on to the next topic. Sifu Nate was talking about this earlier, and he was saying the issue with Wing Chun is there's no hand movement. If he throws a jab, if I over parry with a jab, that leaves my right side face open for him to throw a left hook. Boom. So I'll use head movement as a second line of defense. So if he throws a jab and I overcommit, when he throws a left hook, boom, that's when I'll use head movement to lean back. If he throws a cross, ideally I want to keep it right in front of me. But if I overcommit on that cross, then I'll shoulder roll. Whenever I find my hands away from my face, that's when I'll use head movement. Which is something that you feel Wing Chun should implement.
I definitely think the Wing Chun could implement more head movement to remedy the parts where they fail their hands. Their hands are their first line of defense, which is actually similar to what you said to me earlier. Your hands are your first line of defense, but if you get through that defense, you've got to figure out how to move the body and the head. In their belief, the hands will stop everything. So if you're good at Wing Chun, it shouldn't get to your head. More efficient that way. If I can just stop the hands from here, push it down, and I'm already in, then I can just go direct. Everything is going straight to then we need to use head movement, we need to use body movement. Right. And that's why I think JK has also added those aspects from boxing and Muay Thai. Right? Yeah. When you do pure Wing Chun, it's very, very much just control the hands. Using structure. They use a lot of structure, I think is the key of the best parts of Wing Chun, and manipulating the center line and be able to control the center line, and learning how to deflect, like how you're deflecting, deflecting and finding simultaneous counters off of that deflection.
There's one more thing I noticed when I was watching you spar with your student. I noticed you do something very, very similar to me, which is go in your stance. You would throw your jab, your partner would parry and jab back, and I would see you hand trap and do a back fist. That's exactly the same thing that I do. I parry, trap, boom, into a back fist.
I'm using my lead hand sensitivity as my first line of defense. My rear hand is my secondary, and he uses that as his main one. But from here, I feel this, and I already stop it early. So it's already deflecting from here. So by sticking the opponent, I can grab, and then I can pull and hit from there. So I jab, I feel it, and I can go rolling off of it right away.
So it's very, very similar to what I do, except I like to keep my lead hand outside of my eyebrow. So from here, I'll throw my jab, and if you were to parry the way I would parry, right? Yeah. He would parry, and then most people will counter, because this is called same side counter. He'd counter with his right straight. I cross parry, and because I keep my left hand wide out here, boom, the big left hook comes really quick. He does the straight lead because he keeps the center line, which makes sense. And because I keep my lead hand out here, instead of throwing a jab, I'll throw that left hook. I'll pop that jab, he'll block, he'll counter, and boom, boom.
Over the top. There it is.